A ninja line, a ninja line obstacle course is the quickest way to add some challenging fun to your backyard, assuming you have the trees to hang it from. But not all ninja courses are the same. This 50-foot ninja course with Rickty Bridge by Hapfan might just be the best I've seen yet for beginners and younger children. Today I'll quickly show you how simple the setup process is, what features this course has, and whether or not this would be the one you want depending on how old your kids are and what their skill level is, so stay tuned. But first, what's up? I'm Jeff. Welcome to my backyard. This channel is fun-sized adventures where I try to help you and your family get out and build some backyard fun while keeping it on a budget. Let's kick things off by showing you what comes in the box. In the box, you'll find all the parts for the Rickty Bridge, including the bridge itself, a couple carabiners, the ratchet straps, the webbing loops. You're gonna have 3 of these, carrying bag, and the tree protectors. Then for the upper ninja course, you're gonna have the 1 main strap as well as the ratcheting buckle for the other end, a rope ladder, 1 ring, 1 monkey bar, 2 gymnast triangles, 2 gymnastic round rings, little arm trainer, which is kind of just this little strap to help you use it as a slack line, 8 triangular carabiners, and 8 of the little metal clasps that you put on the main line to hang the carabiners from. Now this is a 50-foot ninja course, so you're gonna need 2 trees that are a little bit less than 50 feet across. Right here, this was about 35 feet, and this seemed just about perfect. The main section of the Rickty Bridge is only about 20 feet long, and then you have the 3 webbing loops that go on the 2 straps down there to give you a little bit more of like a double slackline situation down there. That's where we've chosen on our setup to set up the rest of the dangling obstacles, so they can use the ring to help with balancing going across the Rickty Bridge and then move on to the other obstacles once they get to where it narrows underneath their feet. But you can definitely go up closer to the 50-foot maximum depending how far apart your trees are. Just remember that you're not going to probably be able to get to the full 50 feet because you're going to need a little bit of the line to wrap around the tree at either end. And that's going to eat into that 50-foot overall length that it has. They recommend that you install the Rickty Bridge about 39 inches off the ground, which is about what we have right here. And that's a good height so that as it does stretch, because it's going to stretch a little bit, you don't want it to hit the ground, but you don't want your kids to be too far off the ground because I think this set is probably mostly for younger kids, and I'll get more to that later. So you're going to take the short strap and a tree protector. Put the tree protector around the base of one tree, 39 inches off the ground. Take the short strap, wrap it once completely around the tree, and make sure that it's extending equal lengths on both sides. And that's where you're going to attach your 2 carabiners to the end of that, and then attach those to the end of the shaky bridge. Then at the other end where the bridge narrows, you're going to take your 3 webbing loops and feed the bridge straps through those. And then you're going to take your strap that has a ratchet on either end, do the same thing, loop that at least twice around that tree at the other end, and then you're going to take these 2 straps from your bridge and feed them through that. Make sure that they don't twist and that they're staying flat until they go through that ratchet so that they don't twist up your bridge at all. Also, you want to make sure that you don't ratchet them too far, because if it gets too far or too full, it might cause the ratchet to malfunction. And if nothing else, it'll make it more difficult to take apart when that time comes. So to make sure you don't have to do that, I recommend having somebody help you and having them stand at the end of the bridge and stretch it out so that most of the line is stretched out pretty tight, and that way you just have to pick up the slack of that little bit, because it's going to make it difficult to do this by yourself. This is the one part I would recommend having an extra set of hands to help you. And once that's tight enough that you as an adult can sit on in the center without it just barely touching the ground, then you're going to move on to the upper strap. And this is going to be pretty simple. You just first off, obviously put your tree protectors, then take the one end, shorter end with the ratchet on it, loop that around one end, take the full length, wrap it around the other end. Then before you connect the 2, take your little black metal, they call them toggle clasps in the instructions, and put them about where you want to put the obstacles. I put the ladder towards one end and I put the rest down the other end, but these are a little bit, there's a little bit of play in them. You can slide them around once this is all up and going, so it's not finalized for certain, but you want them generally where you want the obstacles. Most important thing, remember to put this through. Done. I've forgotten to do that so many times. Then depending on the size of your children is going to tell you how much higher above the bridge you want to suspend this. I started off pretty high, but then I kept lowering it until it was the right height for Miles, my son who's 5. And that height for him ended up being about 4 feet above the bridge. And once you got all your carabiners hooked into the toggles and everything's all set, you're going to feed that through, and you're going to need either a step stool or a small ladder to get up to this, because it's going to be much easier to do if you're up at the same level as the line. And then you're going to pull it as tight as you can and then start ratcheting it down until it looks good and straight. Then give it a good hang from the center, see if it needs to be tightened a little bit more. And then once you're confident it's tightened enough, you're going to take all of your remaining obstacles, attach them to the carabiners, do the little locking mechanism on the carabiners so they don't fall off. And then, like I said, you could fine tune them, slide them a little bit here and there along that line. They don't slide super easy, but within a foot or so, you'll be able to kind of maneuver them to where they'll work best. And then you're ready to have some fun. Which brings me to my review. Now, the kids really enjoy this, but I've noticed that I have Miles, who's 5, all the way up to Ethan, who is 12. I could definitely tell you that the younger kids are finding this more enjoyable, and I think that that's who this is really for, is somebody who is just either really young or just, even if they're older maybe, and they're just getting into using ninja courses. Having the Rickty Bridge gives them a little bit of like a safety net to kind of get used to holding on above their head. And that is definitely the main feature of this one. And you're gonna notice that for the price point, it doesn't have a lot of different obstacles hanging from it. That's because a lot of the cost of it is going into this extra entire bridge situation. There's some other lines like this that just have a slack line across the bottom, but this one really takes it to the next level with this whole Rickety Bridge setup, and I think is what really sets this apart. Which brings me to my number 2 point. Even though it doesn't have a lot of obstacles up here, it does have a nice variety and ones that the kids are definitely going to enjoy having on there. So it's got 4 rings in all in 2 different varieties, plus it has 1 monkey bar and then 1 of these gymnast rings that slides down the line. And that gymnast ring is good for going along the Rickety Bridge. You hold onto that as they walk down, and that kind of gives them something that slides. But alternately, if they're a little bit taller, they could grab the upper strap itself and go hand over hand. The ring is really for working your way along the bridge. Plus it has the rope ladder here, and I think that it's a good variety for what it is. I've said in some of my other Ninja Course videos that there's 3 basic types of Ninja Courses. You have ones that have more swing set style obstacles that will have like maybe a couple different kinds of swings that you're more going to use to swing back and forth with. Then you're going to have your like traditional Ninja Course, which is going to have a bunch of different obstacles, even more so than this, but isn't going to have the bridge. That, like I said, really will set it apart for the kids of having this bridge feature with very few of them have something like this, plus the little smattering of different obstacles. One thing that I really appreciate that this doesn't have, because they're probably the cheapest obstacle to manufacture and they could have easily plussed this out by adding them, is the monkey knots. I don't like the monkey knots. The kids don't like the monkey knots, and they're difficult to use. So whereas I think this is more geared towards a beginner, I appreciate that they didn't include those, because that probably would have been an easy way for them to say, look, it has a couple more obstacles, but they're not obstacles anybody's gonna like using. Which brings me to my 3rd point, which this is a good value for what you get. I think it's a unique combination of different obstacles that you're not going to find on many other courses, and it's going to be ideal for getting your kids as young as 4 or 5 into using a Ninja Course. If you have the trees to hang it from, this will be a great addition to your backyard. After a few days of having it up, I could tell you that it's definitely got the same quality as any other Ninja Course I've ever had. And one thing to note is that, like a lot of the other Hapfan brand Ninja Courses, it has plastic rungs where some other brands have wooden, which is a trade-off. I think the wooden ones might overall be stronger, but the plastic ones I've never had any problem with either, and they're not gonna get discolored like the wooden ones will from being out in the rain and the cold weather. But like all my backyard play equipment, I strongly suggest that if you live somewhere where it gets snowy or even just so cold and wet in the winter that nobody uses stuff, to just take stuff down. It'll just save you money in the long run because your stuff won't wear out nearly as fast. But if you want to do a little bit more research on this Ninja Course, check out the links in the description. Those are affiliate links, so that my channel will earn a small commission at no extra cost to you if you choose to buy. So that'll just help us keep making fun videos like this to help your family. But if you're still on the fence about this one, but still want a Ninja Course that maybe is more of an all-in-one solution, check out this video right here where I'll show you another Ninja Course that also can double as a swing set like I mentioned earlier. Till next time, get out there with your kids in your backyard and have a fun-sized adventure of your own. I need to go outside because now that it's warm out, it's black fly season here in Maine. I don't know, do you have black flies where you live? They are eating me alive as I film this. See ya.